Let's go. Let's get to the mailbag. This is okay. Harry Ruiz has a question.
Oh,
it sounds like he's a
friend of the show.
But it sounds like he's coming to the he's our big AEW fan, right? It sounds like he's coming to the defense of AEW.
Right.
From Harry Reese, the subject is Disco AEW.
Right. He actually, just so people know, not only is he an AEW mega fanboy, he has a license plate that says something about AEW. So
right, and he's also an announcer for the Spanish broadcast for the Raiders.
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for this not being short and sweet. It's my first mailbag question in a while. On last week's Patreon exclusive mailbag part 2, when talking about AEW talent, the Mighty D.I. said, Tony Khan should offer people their releases right now. I guarantee you there's going to be tons of – this is my quote, he says. I guarantee you there's going to be tons of people on that show that are not happy with creative at all because they're doing nothing with them. If you offer them a release, I wonder if that would free up some money. Joe intelligently – that's Kazoo that because Joe is never intelligent.
That's nice. Thank you, Harry.
Joe intelligently brought up the point of talent potentially just preferring to ride their contract while getting paid for not doing much. Disco then said, quote, because I wonder at some point you kind of got to want to be able to do something. You get hungry creatively, unquote. My question is, why didn't you show the same energy when WWE superstars were actually requesting their releases and weren't getting them? For example, at the beginning of the year, Mustafa Ali requested his release because he was creatively frustrated and didn't get it. A couple of years back, a lot of WWE superstars like The Revival, Sin Cara, Luke Harper, etc., requested their releases and didn't get them until the company started doing pandemic cuts. Harry, first of all, you need to put this thing in context. Okay, the context of my quote is Tony should offer the releases right now is we were discussing and Joe brought up, what if Sasha wants to come in and she wants like $5 million?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you can't just bring her in and pay her $5 million. You got to cut some people. And I went into the thing if you're going to bring in Sasha Banks and pay her $5 million, I brought up the question here, well, maybe you should cut people or offer them releases to free up some money because you don't need another high-paying talent on that show. And the stuff with the energy for this, who's requesting the releases? I mean, nobody's requesting it because right now it's like these people requested their releases. Okay, like in the WWE, I'm saying Tony should offer releases. I'm not saying anybody's requesting releases. It's a different complaint. Harry, just because I'm going to kazoo, can I get a customary kazoo for Harry's question for? Thank you.
Let me ask you a question.
Context.
Who's the Revival? FTR?
FTR.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, these guys requested their releases. Nobody in AEW has requested the release, as far as I know. I'm saying Tony should, because they're probably, they're probably scared to offer their.
But here's the thing,
all to do with the $5 million, freeing up $5 million. That's what this whole conversation.
Okay,
is about.
so let's keep this 100 on this one. There are some people that if they weren't under the AEW contract, umbrella, buddy system, they'd have work nowhere. And those guys will probably stay there forever as long as Tony will have them. There are some guys that they're talented enough and they have a big enough name that if they left, they could make money on the indies and with a combination of other companies and going to Japan. And
I think New York would grab. Yeah.
Right. And I'll give you an example. I've always said, if you're not in this for money, then what are you in this for? But if you're so frustrated creatively where they're absolutely not doing anything with you, you're spending your best years in catering. How does that raise your value? And I'll give you an example. At one point, I was so mad that I was willing to take a pay cut to go with Paul Lee. And Paul Lee told me, hey, there's no way I can pay you that money. But I thought, okay, I'll go to Paul Lee. I'll go to Mexico. I'll do international indies, which at that time was paying very good. I'll do American indies, and I'll make about the same money I'm making in WCW. So I was willing to leave because I knew I would have been happy somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But you also got to think about, bro, there's a lot of good talent that's wasting their best years. They're doing absolutely nothing, getting paid to do absolutely nothing. So it just depends what type of mentality you have. There's some guys that I've talked to and they're like, man, I want to get out of here. And there's other guys that have actually told me, bro, I'm going to ride the gravy train. Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!